Hey everyone, and welcome. Let me cross this out so that we can chat. All right, you probably are outdoors enjoying your time because it is night out, national night out with friends and family and getting outdoors, and that's super cool. So if you are participating in it and didn't have a chance to do your homework, just get it done in the morning. And so there were 6 problems that you were working on, and I'm just going to do the problems right here. We were on page 86, and you were doing problems 1 through 6 only. And this was on long division. So for problem number 1, you had 28 goes into 620. All right, so first things first, I needed to ask myself, how many groups of 28, and this my number is that's my divisor. How many groups of 28 can go into 6? All right. So 28 cannot go into 6 0 times because it has to be equal to 28 or larger, and 6 is less than. So I'm going to now add a 2. So now ask myself how many groups of 28 can go into 62? Well, 62 is larger than 28, so now the next step, I need to find the multiples. Find the multiples of 28. That's the same as skip counting. So I do the 28, I do the 56, which is also the same as 28 times 1. So 1 times 8, I'm going to come here, I'm going to put it out here as 8. I'm done with this one. 1 times 2 is 2, so that's 28. And I did that so that you'd understand how I was cross-multiplying on this one using the equation across. It only works best with 2 digits by 1 digit. When you do 2 digit by 2 digit, it's a little bit more complicated, and so I'd rather you just do it standard algorithm going up and down. 28 times 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Regroup my 1. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. It's 56. Looks like I can put in another group of 28. I don't think so. But let's go ahead and double check. So 28 times 3. 3 times 8 is 24. Regroup my 2. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is 8. Too big. So I know that it's going to be 2 groups. And I'm going to pretend, tear off another little piece of paper here. And this is going to be for the homework for Miss Vanness's class. So I'm going to pretend like that's it, because that's all I'm trying to do, right? Does it match? Do you see the connections? Great. So I already multiplied it out, and I found out that my product is 56. So I'm going to take that out of my divisor. I need to regroup here, subtract out. So my next step would be to subtract. I'm going to actually move it down a little bit more just in case. I don't think I'll be needing any more space. But I also don't want to take any chances. So here am I right there. So I'm going to subtract out. 12 minus 6 is 6. 5 minus 5 is 0. And now, is 6 less than 28? Yes, it is. But I still have more numbers to bring down. So this is going to be 60. Well, look at this. I don't have to do any more. 56 is going to be the closest to 60. So it's going to be another 2 groups. I've already figured out my product, so now I can subtract it from my dividend. I have to regroup. 10 minus 6 equals 4. So the answer, my quotient, is going to equal to 22 with a remainder of 4. Here I would need to bring down. That would be my next step. That's what I did right here after my subtraction problem. And then if my reduced dividend is still greater than my divisor, I can repeat or start again. If it's not, I stop. Okay? All right, so that's number 1. And you only have 6 problems tonight. Number 2. 64 goes into 842. I'm going to follow that same thing that I just wrote. So if you wrote those notes down, follow the same pattern. 64 cannot go into 8. 8 is too small. It needs to be equal to or greater than 64. 64 can go into 84. Okay, so let me do 84 times 2, because I know 84, excuse me, 84 times 1 is equal to 84. Anytime anything multiplied by 1 is that number. 2 times 4, excuse me, is 8. Oh, excuse me. And then 2 times 8 is 16. Oh, you know how math just makes me want to cry. I'm just kidding. So I'm okay. All right, so this is going to be too big because, again, I'm placing this to the side. I want to, because all I'm doing is using the 84 right now. Oh, did y'all see my mistake? This is not 84. It's 64. Good catch. That's 64, which is going to definitely change my products because that's not right at all. So 64 times 1 is 64. My place is 84. There's not another group of 64 I can put in there. And I'm going to prove it to you. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 6 is 12. So that's way too big. So it's only going to be one group. 4 minus 4 is 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. This is smaller than my divisor, so I can now bring down. Okay, now I'm going to find more multiples. 64 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Regroup. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. That's probably going to be the closest I'm going to get to. But let me double check. 64 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Regroup my 1. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25. It's way too big, so it's going to be 3. I already know my product. I need to subtract that from my dividend, my partial dividend. So it's 2 minus 2 is 0. I cannot take anything out. I'm going to regroup. 10 minus 9 is 1. And so I have nothing else to bring down. My 10 is less than the 64. So this now becomes my remainder. And my quotient is 13. That's my answer. And I have the remainder of 10. And that's for number 2. Number 3, 53 goes into 2,340. You see how I'm spacing out my numbers? Please make sure that you're not crowding in. Okay, again, I'm going to ask myself, 53 cannot go into 2. 53 cannot go into 23. This 23 is still smaller than the 53. So now I'm going over to the 234. I'm going to cover that. And now it's 53 times 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. I can keep going. 53 times 3, that's 9. 3 times 5 is 15. I can keep going. 53 times 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Regroup my 1. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1 is 21. I think that's going to do it right there, but let's just double check. 53 times 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Regroup my 1. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 1 is 26. Yep, that does it. So I have my 4 groups of 53 equal to 212. I need to subtract that out. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. 22 is still less than 53. And I have another number to bring down. That's a 0. And then I start again. That's 220, but look at this. I can't go any further than another group of 4s. I already know that that's going to be equal to 212. Now I can subtract out. After regroup, that becomes a 1. 10 minus 2 equals 8. So my quotient is 44, and with the remainder of 8. Let's look at number 4. I'm going to move this up here. Again, I know that we said Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do have a meeting tomorrow morning, but if you have questions, you can come in, get a computer, and listen to the video so that you can be able to get your work done. 31 goes into 723. All right, 7, following the same process. 3 cannot go into 7, or 31 cannot go into 7. 31, however, can go into 72. You can continue putting 3 times 1 if you'd like. I didn't above. But if that helps you find the multiples, 3 times 2 equals 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. That's 62. I think that's as far as I can go. I cannot put another group of 31 here because it's going to go way over. So it's going to be 2 groups. I already know that the product is 62. I'm going to reduce that or subtract, take the difference from my dividend. 2 minus 2 is 0. 7 minus 6 is 1. Now, I am reducing my dividend. 10 is smaller than 31. I can now bring down my 3. Now I can continue going. 31 times 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 equals 9. You got that one, didn't you? Okay, so 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Oh, wow, too big. So it'll only be 3 groups. I already did 31 times 3. I said that was 93. 3 minus 3 is 0. Well, you can do this, guys. Look, 10 minus 9 is 1. Or if you wanted to regroup, you can do that still the same. Right? So looking at that bigger picture. So my quotient, which is my answer, is 23, and I have a remainder of 10. Let's move on to number 5. I need my little pieces of paper. Okay, number 5. I have 45 goes into 1,359. 45, and I'm going to just do this so that you can see it this way. 45 cannot go into 1. It's 0 times. I'm going to move this down. 45, can it go into 13? No, let me move that over. Sorry about that, guys. Cannot go into 13 because 13 is smaller than 45. Can it go into 35? So I'm going to hide that there. And now, again, I know that 45 times 1 equals 45. If that still confuses you, just start writing down all the multiples. 45 times 2. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to regroup my 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Because that's double. 45 plus 45 is 90. 45 times 3, you're adding, another group of 45 to that. So that makes it at 15. That's 12, 13. 3 times 5 is 15. Regroup. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 4 times, look at that. I'm right there. All right, so I have 3. I know that 45 times 3 is 135. I needed to take the difference. I'm going to erase that part right there. 0, 0, 0. I'm going to bring down my 9. Can 45 go into 9? No, it goes 0 times. 45 times 0 is 0. Subtract that out. I have a remainder of 9. So my quotient is 30 with a remainder of 9. Number 6. This is the last problem of the night. 72